Like if you think about it, they got their own little side on Amazon like that where you can resell shit.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Ain't Shopify with Amazon too?
Shopify is its own entity.
I thought that was a part of like branch off from Amazon.
Nah, Shopify is just for motherfuckers to create store. They can link it to Amazon or something like that.
Gotcha.
Totaling a further $1 million to put into the growth of the company.
I raised $1 million from 22 different investors, $50,000 at a time, and they got 20% of the company for $1 million.
Between 1990 and 1997, the percentage of households in the US owning computers increased from 15% to 35% because owning a computer was less of a luxury and more of a necessity. Increased computer usage as well as further funding led up to a point where the Amazon company would make their next big move, the initial public offering.
Today, Amazon.com went public, and it seems to be trading well.
A little under 3 years after beginning the company, Jeff Bezos would take Amazon public, $1.73 per share. Not a bad price considering that same share would be worth more than $3,000 today. The IPO raised Amazon a total of $54 million, and Bezos would officially receive the title of millionaire for the first time. Exactly 1 year after the IPO at $1.73 per share, the stock price had climbed to $6, an increase of 350%. This almost quadrupled Jeff's net worth, but more significantly began to spark new ideas for what Jeff could do with the company, ultimately leading him to email his customers asking what it was that they wanted to buy off the internet.
I wish you sold windshield wiper blades because I really need windshield wiper blades. And I thought to myself, we can sell anything this way. And then we launched electronics and toys and many other categories over time.
It was through this market research that Amazon would go from an online bookstore to more of an online marketplace, supplying any product that the general consumer had a demand for. Edible glitter, inflatable sloths, taco sleeping bags. Whatever you wanted, there was a good chance that Amazon would stock it. And with an increase in products came an increase in revenue, leading the stock price to go from $6 as previously mentioned to $60 only 1 year later.
Wake up, guys. Niggas went to sleep. I told you this is the Amazon orientation.
This shit interesting though.
It is interesting. But if y'all sleep, wake up. Do not click off this video. We still getting into it.
It went up almost 1,000% last year. When have you seen anything comparable?
Nothing.
And as one of the greatest old sayings goes, it takes years to become an overnight success, no exception for Jeff Bezos. Because despite only becoming a millionaire in 1997 after Amazon's IPO, only 2 years later in 1999, he would be registered in Forbes' world's billionaires list with a net worth of $10.1 billion. Despite having a multi-billion-dollar net worth, Bezos remained humble and committed to his customers by continuing to drive his 3-year-old Honda Accord.
You yourself are worth somewhere in the vicinity of $9 or $10 billion today. What's with the Honda?
This is a perfectly good car.
As well as keeping an old desk that had been made
out of
a door.
This
now, I've heard a lot about your desk.
It's a door, a 4x4.
10 billion was worth hella. That's what?
10 billion in what?
99.
I was gonna say 2,000 on both. 99.
That's a whole lot.
That's a lot. They said 10 million or billion?
Billion.
So
he was already worth $1 million in 97.
Right.
He went to 10 from $1 million to 10 billion. You gotta have this nigga went. First of all, you gotta have 999 million to get to 1 billion.
Yeah.
So this nigga had, God damn, well, in 2 years, that nigga goddamn went up. For real.
Now, take that time from 1999 to now. He probably up.
I ain't gonna lie.
600-700 billion.
Yeah, trillion. He touching trillion.
You can afford a better desk.
2024, he touching trillion. Everybody on Amazon.
spending money
Everybody
on
doing
things that
something.
matter to customers and not spending money on things that don't.
However,
You
saving
touched
as
the
much
trick,
money
right?
as possible was
Amazon
exactly
definitely
what
working
Jeff
people.
needed to commit to, because unbeknownst to him, one of the biggest stock market crashes in history was already underway.
At the peak of the internet bubble, our stock peaked somewhere around $113. And then after the internet bubble, busted open, our stock went down to 6. It went from 113 to 6 in less than a year.
The dot-com bubble. A dark cloud was looming on the horizon for every online tech business, and it's safe to say that Amazon was about to be put to the test.
Amazon had serious crises. In 2002, you went almost bankrupt. So what went wrong, and what did you learn from that?
Between March 2000 and October 2002, the Nasdaq would drop by 78%, causing multiple large online businesses such as Pets.com to fail and shut down.
Pretty strong fear about losing it all. Are you afraid of that?
I know we can lose it all. It's not a fear.
In 1999, just before the crash would begin, Amazon's stock price would hit a high watermark of $113 per share. The dot-com bubble would begin to burst in March 2000, and it would be less than a year after hitting $113 that the share price would drop to only $15. By late 2001, the stock had and it would be less than a year after hitting $113 that the share price would drop to only $15. By late 2001, the stock had fallen further to $5.51 per share, a total drop of approximately 95% since its peak.
My annual shareholder that year starts with a one-word sentence, and that one-word sentence is the word ouch.
Amazon had to lay off 14% of its staff, indicating that the company was absolutely on the ropes. Jeff's personal net worth had dropped from $10.1 billion in 1999 to $6.1 billion in 2000, then $2 billion in 2001, finally dropping to $1.5 billion by 2002. And if you follow that trend all the way along, the eventual outcome could have been zero for Jeff Bezos. However, Jeff wasn't going to give up that easily. He was a fighter. In fact, he wasn't even going to see it as a negative.
So that $10 billion we were just talking. We were just talking about.
But that was just his worth, though. That was his net worth.
That was a number, but that $10 billion dropped
to $1 billion.
$1 billion.
Nigga still.
$1 billion is
still up. What the fuck?
He had such a strong mindset, it was simply a learning experience.
The whole point of moving things forward is you run into problems, you run into failures, things don't work, you have to back up and try again.
Despite the stock dropping by 95%, Jeff explained that the stock wasn't the company and the company wasn't the stock. Because despite the massive plunge, things weren't looking all that bad internally at Amazon.
Every single thing about the business was getting better and fast. And so as the stock price was going the wrong way, everything inside the company was going the right way.
And while the company had to lay off 14% of its staff, there was still extensive innovation going on behind the scenes. Amazon would announce Amazon Web Services in 2002, which took data from website traffic and helped third-party retailers build their own web stores. Perhaps it was just good timing in relation to the end of the dot-com bubble, but around this time, Amazon stock began to rise in value once again, eventually reaching $50 approximately 2 years after its low point during the dot-com bubble, representing a gain of 500% per year. But this total stock price rebound of 1,000% was nothing in comparison to what was coming for Jeff Bezos, and it wouldn't be long before he would take his life to the next level. By 2006, after innovative introductions at Amazon such as the Kindle, Jeff's net worth had once again increased back up to around the $8 billion mark. At this point, Jeff decided that he wanted to help humanity in more ways than simply shipping products worldwide on Amazon, and as a result began to focus on a different company.
If you could just take a minute or two and sort of help us understand, what is Blue Origin up to?
Jeff Bezos had always had an interest in space. His valedictorian speech focused on the exploration of space and had claimed to have gotten interest in other planets after watching the moon landings for the first time.
Space is like that for me. I watched Neil Armstrong step onto the moon when I was 5.
Jeff Bezos created the company Blue Origin all the way back in 2000. However, had kept it on the down low until around 2006 when it was considered financially feasible, at which point a large plot of land in Texas would be purchased for launching and testing the company's rockets.
The vision for Blue Origin is...
So I didn't know that he made a Blue Origin. He made Blue Origin. Well,
that's like a space company?
I guess so. I don't know. But it's company rockets and a vision for Blue. I don't know. It's just at a testing plot. I don't know if it was, but I didn't know that he had a second business though that jumped up there. And then I ain't gonna lie to you, a lot of these companies, bro. Texas seems like it's the place for them to test their company.
Why you say that?
Because a lot of like, I don't know, like a lot of shit be coming out of Texas, like as far as like testing wise, like oh yeah, they testing. Because I think if I'm not mistaken, the Cybertruck was doing the same thing. Elon Musk was doing the same thing out of Texas, and a whole bunch of other shit. So I could be wrong. Y'all might have to inform me in the comments, like y'all love to do. Yeah, let's get back to it.
Millions of people living and working in space.
The goal of the company was very much similar to another well-known and loved entrepreneur by the name of Elon Musk.
I learned that.
Come on, dog. I'm not too far off. For sure.
Fundamental issue is actually the cost of access to space.
With both entrepreneurs attempting to produce cheap rockets while ensuring the future of human existence.
We're now big compared to the size of the planet. We can fix that problem. My role in that is I want to build reusable space vehicles. That's the heavy lifting.
And while Bezos was working on Blue Origin as a passive side project, Amazon was still churning away in the background, barely being touched by the global financial crisis, making Bezos richer and richer and richer. 12 billion, 18 billion, 29 billion by 2013. By this point, Amazon had become the largest online shopping retailer in the world, and Jeff Bezos had become the 19th richest person in the world. But these weren't the only significant events that happened.
Hold on, though. Walmart. They got about 4 people ahead of them on that list at Walmart.
Nah, they saying the richest though. I think these are the richest people.
Yeah, but I'm saying from Walmart.
Well, they're richer than Jeff.
But you know
happened in 2013.
How about that? You know that
next business purchase.
The post at the time
they still might be up.
It was kind of financially upside down. Had a lot of work to do.
They've been around.
The internet had really taken the wind out of newspaper companies.
By this point, it had become somewhat obvious that Jeff wasn't really into conventional businesses. An online bookstore before the internet was populated, a company creating cheap rockets to be sold for space travel, hardly the type of businesses you'd expect a local mum and dad to be running. This trend of purchasing unconventional businesses would continue into 2013, at which point Bezos would purchase a newspaper company by the name of The Washington Post for a price of $250.
I didn't know he purchased the Washington Post.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
$50 million.
I asked him how much he wanted. He said
29.
I said
whatever
fine. I didn't negotiate with him.
billion.
I did no due diligence.
By 2013, the internet had completely taken over the traditional newspaper business model.
The problem was a secular one. The internet was just eroding all of the traditional advantages that local newspapers had, all of them.
And Jeff's rationale for purchasing the Washington Post was actually extremely smart. The Washington Post already had a load of talented people who knew a lot about news and media, and Jeff had become a master of online businesses. So Jeff would mix his knowledge of the internet with Washington Post's knowledge of news media with the goal of making the company profitable once again.
Inside the Washington Post, we have so much talent that understands newspapers. That wasn't what the problem was. What they needed was somebody who had an understanding of the internet.
Bezos lifted the online paywall while completely restructuring the newspaper into more of an online media site, and by 2016, only 3 years after making the purchase, the Washington Post had become profitable once again, showing that almost anything Bezos touched would turn to gold. The turn to profitability at the Washington Post was around the same time that profitability over at Amazon was starting to get to absolutely stupid levels, which brings us to one of the most iconic events in Amazon's history. July 2015. Amazon releases its quarterly earnings report, which surprised its investors by reporting a net profit that outperformed the top quarterly estimates. This incredible earnings report caused the stock to surge 18% during after-hours trading, and when the market opened, Jeff Bezos would earn $7 billion in the space of 60 minutes, taking him to the spot of the 5th richest person in the world by 2016 with a net worth of $50 billion. And it's not like Jeff began began to hoard this money or blow it on excessive luxury. Rather, he just continued to make Amazon even bigger, hiring 130,000 new employees. By this point, it was barely a matter of if he was going to become the richest person in the world, but more a matter of when he was going to become the richest person in the world. And that time was not far away at all. In March 2018, after expressing the possibility of expanding Amazon into India, combined with the extreme success of Amazon Prime, Jeff Bezos would overtake Bill Gates to become the richest man in the world with a net worth of $112 billion.
I'm sorry, everybody over here talking about Bill Gates this, Bill Gates that. Jeff Bezos really one of the ones.
Ain't Bill Gates dead?
Yeah. But Bill Gates had that sack before
Bill Gates done.
he had that bag before he died.
This nigga just a new Bill Gates.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
As a result of going up 70% this year, you have become the wealthiest man in the world. Is that a title that you really wanted or not? Is it
I can assure you I have never sought that title. And it was fine being the second wealthiest person in the world. That actually worked fine.
This jumped to $131 billion in 2019, and due to the pandemic increasing the demand for online shopping, Bezos ended 2020 with a net worth of $182 billion. Bezos lost the title of world's richest man to Elon Musk in January 2021. However, each billionaire claims to have the same goal of making...
Damn, Elon! Elon caught up to him like that.
Nah, what the fuck? We gotta come Elon next, man.
Elon caught up to him like that.
How the fuck you do that?
Because he was just saying he was just the wealthiest, richest man in the world. Then they say 2021, Elon. What?
Well, yeah, we gotta look more at Elon.
Like multiplanetary, so at the end of the day, a bit of healthy competition at the top might not be such a bad thing for the human race. From a 17-year-old mother to a child genius to valedictorian to McDonald's to hedge fund senior executive to online book salesman to millionaire to billionaire to news magnate to space explorer to the richest man in human existence. It's certainly been a bumpy ride full of risk, reward, ups, downs, but Jeff Bezos has shown that perseverance is king. Focus on the customer, not the competitor, and never give up until you get what you want. Jeff Bezos has shown that it doesn't matter where you come from, it doesn't matter that your stock might drop by 95% during a crisis, and it doesn't matter how much hair you have on your head. You can still succeed if you don't give up when everyone else feels like doing so. This has been From McDonald's to Multi-Billionaire, Becoming Jeff.
Egghead. I know it's probably been a bumpy ride, not only for Jeff Bezos, but for this video too. But if y'all stayed in and y'all tuned in, y'all actually liked it, y'all like the information, or y'all know some information, please drop it in the comments. Give us a like and subscribe. Y'all want to see more videos. We drop daily, I want to say. But if we don't drop daily, take it out on me. Don't play about your life, pussy nigga, ain't no running. Can't 3 guns on my side, and they seem like it's Jonas, bro. It's your boy Trey. Keys.